Hey love, it's wash day, so I'm going to do my hair while I tell you about how I made my career pivot. Let's go. Mercedes, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, I'm the career love coach, and my whole entire thing is helping Black women fall in love with their careers. And I'm gonna be honest here, I have a goal, right? I want to grow my YouTube channel, but I also want to make sure that I'm giving out content that's helpful, right? And I was like, it takes me so much time to write all my content, put it all together, and then edit my videos. So honestly, what I'm going to do is start creating content that feels like a little bit more vloggy. It's a little bit more informal, and also gives me time to do my hair. Okay, let's be honest here, because I am tired of doing my hair. So in this video, I am going to be telling you about my latest career transition. I know if you are on my email list or following me, otherwise you know I have made that pivot, okay? And I've been very happy. And so I kind of wanted to share like my pivot, how I made the change, all of those things in a video, and I will be doing my hair while I do that, okay? So yeah, join me for the ride. Let me know if you like this format. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to be creating content that doesn't really get views or anything, but at the same time, like, you know, I want to do something a little bit more casual, a little bit of a get to know me kind of thing. So let's go. So this is more informal. I literally have prepared nothing, but I'm always talking about my career pivot online. So I figured, hey, why not? Let's do this. And I'm going to twist my hair today. So if you don't know, I've been in human resources for 7 years, almost 8. It will be 8 in January. And I am less than 3 months, getting close to 3 months into like my career change. So you might consider this a career change. I do. So like I said, I've been doing human resources for those 8 years. But now I'm actually in a DE&I role. So my title is a diversity manager, and I have loved every single day at work. Y'all can hear about all of my toxic job trauma some other time. Not doing that today. I'm just talking about the pivot and the change. But of course, like, I was really not feeling fulfilled at my day job, and honestly, I felt a little hypocritical, because I like, my whole thing on the internet is to be like, I want Black women to love their careers. I want Black women to do what they love. And honestly, like, I've never taken a job or done anything that wasn't what I loved, but I was now at a time. I should have used the other hair tie for this side. Anyway, I'm doing twists. Did I say that already? Anywho, I'm going to do this. I'm sorry, y'all. I was really in a place where I wasn't really enjoying what I was doing as much. I didn't enjoy who I worked with. I really enjoyed my team. I was a manager, but it was just really one of those things where I was like tired and ready to go, and I was getting burnt out. All the mental health stuff. If you want to hear all about that, you can go watch my podcast. I'm sure I will link it somewhere below. But yeah, girl, I was just not happy anymore. So when I first started like saying I was going to leave the job that I was at, and I'm going to tell you, like, it was a whole year and a half. There was some stuff in there that had like made me kind of take some more time. Like, my great grandmother died. And I was also going through my own mental health stuff. Like, I got diagnosed with ADHD. I was depressed, had mild anxiety. Like I said, listen to the podcast to like learn more. And I was also running my coaching business. So like, there was still a lot there. And so I feel like, yes, it was a combination of mental health things, stress from work, but also like so much of it was just like, everybody just had it hard. Okay. So when I started my job search, there you just saw my email that I sent out. Anyway, you're hearing that sound. Anyway, so I started my job search and I was like, okay, it makes the most sense for me to do like a talent acquisition job, right? Like I'm in talent, I love it. Well, at the time I think I loved it, but then the more I thought about it, like I loved something else more. And we're going to talk about that. Obviously, I said I pivoted into D&I, so it's going to come full circle. But like I was like, I love I love talent acquisition. Like I should just do that. I'm probably not doing this right. So if you are an HR, I'm sorry, not HR. Why did I say HR? If you are a hair person, I know, like, okay, I've been tired and I haven't felt like doing my hair. So this is like a perfect opportunity to do it. So don't judge me, okay? And I will show you my hair products in a minute. I'm not looking too bad. Anywho, so like I was saying, I started applying to talent acquisition positions. So like talent acquisition manager positions, talent acquisition director positions, things that just seem like comparable or the next step. Because like part of it was like I was ready to leave because like I told you, I was not enjoying let's be honest, I was not enjoying my manager. Anyway, I don't think I've been really saying that on the internet, but that's the truth. And so I was really in a place where I'm like, I have to go. Like, this is my mental health. Like, I have to do it. And so I really didn't even take a second to think about it. I was like, the next step is talent acquisition, right? So that's completely what I did. And I just went with it. And I was getting like rejection after rejection after rejection. I wasn't getting any responses. And now y'all know me, okay? Like, I am like a career coach, and I'm really loud about how quickly my clients get like real great, amazing results in their job search, like pretty quickly. So the fact that I wasn't getting the same type of results that I get from my clients was like super rough for me. Like I was like, not only am I a hypocrite for hating my job, but I am also like not able to do the things that I do with my clients. Now, anyway, if you are in a position where you have been a career coach or a life coach or anything like that, you always know that people say, that like it's hard to coach yourself. So, I look back on that and I give myself some grace, but still like it was a rough time for me. And I was feeling really defeated. But it wasn't until I was going through all of that stress and realized like, wait a second, like this is even what I want. And I was realizing that all of my interviews, like I wasn't excited about the positions. I just kind of saw it as a next step. And like, I really feel like that's something, so I heat damaged my hair, and give me a minute, cause I can't even tell. Oh, okay, it's curling. It's staying. So anyway, I heat damaged my hair probably like a year ago. And like it was so bad that it wouldn't, sorry, I'm adjusting the camera that I'm looking at to do my hair. Oops, and it turned off. Wow, sorry guys. I'll be right back. Where was I? Wow, I don't remember. Oh yeah, I said I heat damaged my hair. My hair wasn't curling, but I see that it's curling now, so cool. I hope that the camera is still good. Okay. Anywho, so it was really then that I was like, you know what? I realized that in my job right now, I really love doing all the D&I stuff that I'm doing. Like I got to create more equitable hiring practices. I got to create equitable and inclusive hiring practices in all of the different consulting that I did across the organization that I worked for. And the more I started thinking about it and the way that I was actually showing up in interviews, like I talk about this as like my major mistake, was that I really realized that the parts that I loved about my job was actually no longer the talent acquisition part. And like I said, I've been in HR for 7 years and I always loved that the whole time. Sometimes it's like hard to be an extrovert, but I was actually doing like executive recruitment. So it was like not high volume and I got to like build relationships more than I did like with like a high volume recruitment that I was doing before. I mean, you still get that, but it was just like not as many people. So it was easier to like manage my energy, and I was doing other things then too. Anyway, I've gotten on a total tangent, but essentially like I really just started to see like what I thought what I wanted was really not what I wanted anymore. And I had to start thinking about that first. And I wish that I had like earlier in the process, because it wouldn't have taken me a year to transition. Actually, it took me more than a year, but I told you like I took a big long break because of all of the like stress that I had going on. Anywho, which, like, you know, if that's you, that's how you're feeling, like, don't feel bad about it. Okay, so I told you I was going to share the product. So this is Camille Rose. I love Camille Rose, and that's just her ultimate honey. Cocoa nibs and honey ultimate growth serum. I just use it because it's oil. Like, I don't really do the growth serum thing. And this is her almond joy butter. And then I love the dew. This is the honey curl custard bee girl. So anyway, and then this is just water. Okay, so I was like, I think I want to do DE&I stuff. So then I started to say, you know, I think I went through the same exact thing that everybody else goes to when they're thinking about going to a career pivot. Like, ooh, do I have enough DE&I experience? You know, I've only really done it in this one area. You know, how do I really look back at my skills and say, like, okay, here's how you can, you know, talk about those skills from a like DE&I lens. And like, I definitely had to do that the same way that I would recommend everybody else to do. So I will say that is the first thing for me is like, how did I pivot? It's like, I had to realize that, you know, exactly what I wanted to pivot to, first of all, because I think some people just pivot into a career that they feel like is just, you know, the most well paid, or what everybody is talking about, or I don't know, just like it's just something that's out there and they don't really think about what they really want. And they just kind of make the next logical jump or whatever anybody else is telling them. And then the second part is, like, I had to reconsider my entire skill set in the lens of DE&I. And people think that should be so easy when you talk about writing a resume, or you talk about, you know, repackaging your skills, interviewing. It's not as easy as just like, okay, putting some keywords on your resume and going. That's how people end up with these really long job searches. Now, I had a really long job search for another reason, but there's many ways that you can create a really long job search, okay? And honestly, that's absolutely one of them. So, like, don't think you're just gonna, like, you know, use your same resume, use the same, you know, way to describe your skill set as you did before. Like, you have to come at it completely different. And the way that I really advise my clients, I have other videos on this as well, is to like go out and do some research about the position and then come back and say like, okay, these are the skill sets that they're looking for. This is what I found in my research. They're asking for this XYZ thing. And then start to think about your skill set, right? So when I tell y'all that I was like, oh yeah, you know, I don't know if I have that much DE&I experience, when I really started this, I was like, wait a minute, like I do have great DE&I experience. And the more that I started to look back at my career path and what I've done, like DE&I has been a part of the entire thing. When I think about like, or even early in my career when I was an intern, right? I was creating a process that, even though I didn't know that at the time, I didn't have words, I was requiring that, you know, hiring managers submit a profile to me about what they're looking for in a candidate. I was requesting or requiring that they have, now because I was strongly requesting, okay? I could not require things where my first job. I guess you can't really, I mean, there's not a lot of things. Anyway, influence and, you know, using that relationship building to help leaders make a decision is a good thing in HR as well as DE&I, okay? So that being said, wait a second, I'm going to pause really quick. That being said, like I went back and I was like, yeah, I'm making HR practices that were more inclusive, right? Like I'm creating HR practices that allow people to have consistent performance review criteria. I'm creating HR practices that allow candidates to have a scorecard to be interviewed and evaluated. I'm doing research on the types of candidates. I'm looking at, like in terms of gender, I honestly didn't do a lot of other things, but like, anyway, evolution, you know what I'm saying? What else am I looking at? I am looking at ways to attract more diverse candidates. I didn't think about it at that time, but like the industry that I worked in when I first started working was super saturated with men. So we had a whole strategy to attempt to attract more women into the organization. So there were all of these things that I was doing all along that I didn't know were DE&I functions. And I had to reconsider, like, man, how was the work that I was doing creating a more diverse workplace? How is it creating a more inclusive workplace when I talk about like engagement or building relationships with employees and doing an employee engagement survey? All of these types of things are things that I was doing to really move forward in this area. And so when I began to write my resume, it felt really hard at first. Like, again, that's me, even as a career coach, saying these things are hard, okay? So if you feel like repacking your skills are hard, like, you're right, like, they are hard. And then, like, once I left my coffee outside. That really sucks. I wanted to drink my coffee while I was doing this. I might get up in a minute. Anywho, so if you feel like coming up with your transferable skills are hard, you're 100% right. Like, you're not wrong. It's a hard thing to do. And it also takes it takes not just like critical thinking about trying to make the connections, but it also has to do with you building confidence around yourself. Like, if I hadn't been able to like hype myself up to talk about how much I did D&I work, or I didn't have somebody help me do that, like, either way, like, I did it to myself. But you know what I'm saying? You know, like, I might not have even got there. I would have said, like, oh, it's not possible. I don't have enough experience. And so as soon as I started doing that, I was like, okay, here's my new resume. Bing, bang, boom. Like, I have all of these new ways that I have to talk about my skills, right? I'm not talking about recruitment. I'm talking about hiring diverse talent. I'm not talking about, you know, employee relations. I'm talking about fostering a culture that allows for the organization to retain, develop, and create a safe space for people of color. So anyway, I don't want to go on to it too much, but you see like the big difference here in how I talk about my own skill set makes me sound like an HR professional versus a DE&I professional. And I'm still both, by the way, because I'm going to tell you about, like, you know, why leaning into who you are is helpful too. Like, from a skill set background, I'm not talking about no fluffy stuff right now. I mean, I'm always talking about fluffy stuff, but like from this regard, like, no, it is like tangible skills, right? But anyway, so I'm talking about my skill set completely different. And that's when I was like, I'm going to make a totally new resume. So that Canva resume that you all see me talk about is a Canva resume that I used. Okay, it's pretty, it gets attention, and it also gets through the ATS, and you can like edit it in Canva. Okay, if you're a Canva girly like me, you know how nice that is. So yeah, I used that, and I also created my job search planner, and I tracked all of my applications, and I did my own exercises in there. So everything that I'm telling you all to do is honestly how I made this pivot. Okay, like, I'm preaching to y'all like I preached to myself 6 months ago, okay? Because it was rough. And also, if you're watching this like in real time, like you're watching this when this video is just released, like, I also have a new podcast that was released where I talk about this as well, so you can go watch that. Anyway, all of that being said, like, I did all of that. I rebranded, I got my new resume, and then I started to apply. And at first, I was kind of worried about, like, okay, so I was a manager before, so I knew I didn't want to go back in terms of title. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you know, if I pivot careers, like, I'm gonna lose, you know, my career progression. Like, you know, I'm gonna have to go back to being like an individual contributor if I was a manager, if I'm a manager, or excuse me, if I was a director, I might have to go back to a lower level. And it's like, you could, I mean, there are certain industries where that might be possible, but like, also, if you just automatically think from the start that that's what's gonna happen, like, you're gonna put yourself, you know, you're gonna put that barrier up for yourself. So like, why not be open and, you know, just explore what it could look like as you staying in a comparable level of role like that you are now. Okay, sorry. I'm getting my hair stuck. So that was one thing for me. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go back to being like, you know, like, I'm not going to do a D&I specialist kind of role. Like, I do want to have a higher level role. I want to have a manager level title, even if I don't have direct reports, you know, who knows. So all of that being said, yes, I started applying to manager level roles. I applied to program manager roles. I applied to, and I'm talking about DE&I or DE&IB or diversity, whatever, along those titles. I had even like applied to like diversity recruitment ones, but then I was like, I still think this is still out of alignment. Anywho, I still I still ended up applying to majority like DE&I program managers or DE&I managers. Okay, cool. So let me think about this. So eventually I actually started to get like quite a few interviews. I will tell y'all, like, this journey was wild. Like, the amount of people hiring DE&I people that don't even understand what DE&I is. Or, you know what? I shouldn't even say what DE&I is, because DE&I is technically different for everybody, right? But what I think DE&I should be is kind of crazy. Like, I got on some interviews, and people were, like, explaining to me how, like, inclusion was different than equity. And, like, yes. Like, I'm sorry, like, yes, they are different definitions, but, like, you're not doing anybody a service by basically sharing, like, equity is not a part of your job. Like, how can you do diversity work? How can you do, I mean, yes, I could see it from, like, an inclusion. So, anyway, whatever. What I'm trying to say is, like, I just had people saying some crazy stuff to me, like, oh, well, this position just looks at inclusion and belonging, but it doesn't look at equity and diversity. And I'm like, so that's a separate function? Like, am I working with them? And they're like, no, that's in HR. And I'm like, what? Anyway, like, there was just a lot of wild stuff. Like, people just telling me crazy things. Like, people just having awful, like, recruitment practices. And y'all know I'm a recruiter, so, like, I'm going to judge these people from start to finish about what they are doing or aren't, like, what they're doing and not doing right. So all of that being said, like, I actually, maybe after I switched this, I think it was maybe even, like, 3 weeks later, like, I was in, like, pretty final rounds with a company that I really liked. I really liked the person who was leading. I liked the individuals on the team that I was working with, and it was, like, fully remote. And I was, like, super excited, and I was like, oh, this might be it. Like, anyway, thing said, like, I was still really stressed out at work, so I was, like, I was definitely having influxes of, like, applications. So, like, stay consistent, y'all. Like, doesn't matter if you're in the, you know, the end stages of a recruitment process or whatever. Like, make sure y'all keep applying, because I definitely lost some steam after this one. So anyway, like, keep going. It's okay. Your perfect position will come, and I'm going to talk about that later. Okay, so that being said, what had happened was I went to a final interview, and then, like, I had asked, like, you know, like, hey, I'm a career coach outside of work. Like, is it, you know, is this okay with your organization? I thought I was going to have some more, like, preliminary interviews to be able to ask this, but I didn't. And so anyways, it ended up, like, I think I probably would have got that job, but it ended up that they did not allow any outside, like, work. Like, whether or not, like, not for a competitor, nothing like that. There would have been no conflict of interest for my coaching business, whatever else I do. Or, like, whatever. I was like, well, like, even if you all want to say, like, okay, I can't do consulting or whatever, and, you know, I would have been like, cool, I'm just coaching, but whatever. So anyway, that didn't work out, and I was like, oh, back to the drawing board. Like, this really sucks. But, like, looking back at it, I'm really glad that I didn't, you know, that, so I want y'all to know I didn't give up on y'all, okay, because I love y'all too much. I love being a career coach. Like, I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to give that up. So anyway, so I was, like, back to the drawing board, and I took a little bit of a break, because I think I had maybe 4 or 5, like, phone screens. Some of them were weird, like I said, the first one, but this one was the one that I was like, oh man, I'm almost there. And so I had, like, stopped for a little bit too. It's the holidays. I was, like, spending time with family, and I had interviews during that time too. But then, like, yeah, nothing really worked out. And I think, like, in the beginning of the year, actually, is when the organization I'm working for now reached back out to me, and they were like, hey, are you still available? And I was like, absolutely. Also, I'm going to tell you all right now, I have a coaching business. Like, like, I'm not doing this again. Like, I'm tired of this. And actually, I started putting my coaching business on my resume, like self-employed career coach, because I was like, I'm not playing with y'all anymore. Like, this is ridiculous, and there's no reason why in 2023, when employers can't even provide stable workplaces for people post-COVID, that y'all don't think people want or need side hustles. And for me, I view this as a business. I view it as me building a big business, but which is why I'm posting more, right? But all of that being said, it's like, even if it's side hustle stuff, like, you know, like, come on, like, people need additional streams of income in the world that we live in now. So that's kind of like out of touch. Anyway, I started putting on there because I'm like, if y'all are going to not consider me, y'all can go ahead and do this at the time of application, because I'm tired and I'm not playing with y'all anymore. Bam. That said what I said. Okay, so let me think. What am I talking about now? Oops, I got some here. Where is that coming from? Okay. Are y'all judging me for my hair? Oh, it looks kind of cute though. I don't know. I can't really see it that well from the other camera because the black is blending in. But it looks good from here. Okay. What was I talking about? Okay. So I interviewed with them. I told them, you know, all about my like coaching stuff ahead of time. I can't tell you how well I vibed with every single interviewer. Like, I loved all of them. I wanted to work with them. It was a super well done, well thought out interview process. And it was just really personable. And I was like, I got off my first interview and I was like, I don't want to get my hopes up, because that's what y'all think, y'all. One of the things, y'all, don't be getting your hopes up, okay? Like, just go into it with an open mind, show up as your best self, and then be like, if I'm the best person for the job, I will get it, and then, like, move on. Because the more and more, like, you stick all of this, like, weight of the world on this job, and especially if you're, like, in a toxic environment and you're, like, you feel like you're depending on this working out, like, the worse you're going to perform and the worse you're going to feel like if you don't get the job. So, like, don't do that. So, anyway, I know that's, like, easier said than done, but it's, like, it takes a lot of mindset stuff. So, you know, work on your mindset, go see a therapist, get a coach, you know, those kind of things that'll help you with that. I'm pulling out a lot of hair. Sorry. Okay. So, anyway, I'm vibing the whole time, and I'm also, like, at the same time at my, you know, existing job, like, I can't say that there was probably, like, a period of time where I was, like, I was so burnt out and checked out. But, like, after I came back from the holiday break, I was like, you know what? Let me put it this way. Like, I was in a place where I felt like I couldn't do what I wanted to do to move what I was doing forward. And, like, if you know me, you know that I care so much about the quality of my work and what it means. And so I was feeling so frustrated about the fact that, like, I was trying to do all these things to make change and do things better, and serve the people that I'm meant to serve, you know, like, I mean, anyway, my customers, whatever you want to call it, as well as my team well, and I felt like I couldn't do that. And I was like, you know what, like, I should not allow who is around me to change how I show up at work. Like, that's just not who I should be. It's not who I want to be. And so I was like, I'm just going to show up and I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to show up for my people the way that I think that they need to be showed up for. I'm going to do things that I feel like are going to help the organization. I'm going to do things that I think are going to help my team. And I'm just going to go for it. And so I did. And so I ended up, like, creating a whole strategic plan and really making a lot of changes in terms of, like, the culture of my team. And I was in a leadership program at the same time too. So I will not take, you know, I won't say that, like, I did that all by myself. Like, I definitely had some really great teachers in that leadership development, you know, program that I went through. But ultimately I was like, I'm not going to not do what I know I'm meant to do anymore. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so in March, I think it's March, right? I got my offer letter. Like, it was great. Like, it was when I learned more. I mean, not that you don't learn, but, like, by the time I had gone through the recruitment process, like, I was really sure that these were the people that I wanted to work with. I had good vibes. They answered every question. They had good answers. They had a good process, and they offered me really what I was looking for to make a pivot or a change, right? And allowed me to pivot into the different career path, right, from HR to DE&I. And so like there were no qualms for me. I mean, I was like really having a hard time like having to tell my team that I was leaving because I love them and I still love them. Anyway, so all I'm saying is, but like I was ready. Like I was so excited. I think everybody knew on the other hand that I was like on the other side, like the organization that I work for today was like super excited. And like it was like everything has been great and it still continues to be great. And I think the biggest lesson for me that, well, I can't even say it's a lesson because it's something that I share all the time. So it's really something that's like, it's like a confirmation of, you know, what you're sharing with your community and your clients and your mentees is true, right? Because I always say that it doesn't matter, like if you know that you're going in the right direction, you're led by your purpose, your passion, you know what you want to do, that like all the chips will come into place for you. Like whether or not you know that or not, like you might feel like it's out, you know, it's too far out, like you can't do that, you don't have the right skills. And I'm sure anybody could have came to me and told me I don't have the right skills or enough skills to make a pivot into DE&I, right? And to that, I would say, like, obviously you were wrong. But I look back at that and I was like, if I would have let the fact that I was always in DE&I or HR roles and never in DE&I roles hold me back, I would have never applied for this position, right? I never would have made the leap. I never would have repackaged my skills. I never would have applied. I never would have interviewed with confidence, right? Like if I didn't believe in myself to take that, then that, like where I am today would have never happened. And when I look back at it, when I was interviewing, I really didn't understand this context. They wanted somebody with an HR background to come into their team. And so not only was I able to be like a good cultural fit because I was showing up as my authentic self and really obviously connected with those that I was interviewing with, but like I was also able to, because I showed up as myself, I was able to show up as the HR professional that I am. That was obviously apparent on my resume. Like I didn't lie on my resume. I just repackaged how my skills were positioned, right? And they liked that and they hired me because of it. And so even if you're out there and you think sometimes, oh, you can't have this, can't have that, you know, I'm not saying to put yourself in, what am I trying to say? So like sometimes y'all are trying to get to a place for how y'all think y'all can get there. So for instance, like I hear so many people that are like, oh, you know what, I want this salary and I want to work from home where these are the duties, but I hear I can only do that in tech. Oh my God, y'all be driving me crazy with the tech stuff, okay? I love y'all, there's nothing wrong with tech. I feel like some of y'all just want tech for the clout, except for right now because tech's kind of going through a lot of layoffs, like no jokes, like it is a natural thing, but like I feel like people have kind of laid off a little bit. Anyway, all of that being said, but it's like y'all are creating some idea in your mind of the only, like you're limiting the way that you can have what you want instead of looking at it holistically of like, no, what is it that I truly want? Like what are the duties and what is the pay? Because that could be in any industry, that could be any place, and you could have that, and then you limit yourself by either what you think you can have or where you can go. Anyway, all of that being said is like keep your eyes open and be super clear about what you want, and you will find it as you're going through your journey as long as you stay focused. And there will be a perfect opportunity for you. I genuinely am somebody that believes in purpose, kind of not from just like a purpose of what you say that you want to do on this earth and in this time. I mean that from like a divine alignment kind of standpoint. And so I mean that like what is for you will be for you. I mean, how perfect is it that there was a job that I applied for that they were looking for my exact skill set, and it was a perfect personality and culture fit for me, right? Like I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe in chance. And I really believe that this opportunity was amazing for me. Okay. So yeah, that's what I got to say. Also, I gotta say, I thought I was gonna get through more hair, but I guess when you're talking and doing your hair at the same time, it doesn't really go fast. So y'all are really only gonna see like half of it, but maybe I can take like a little picture at the end so y'all see what my hair looks like. later, because I'm not taking this out. Like, I'm supposed to go home for 4th of July weekend to spend time with family. And we're going swimming. And normally, so anyway, I think that I'm going to be a blowout hair girly, whatever, you know, like a straight girl hair girly, which is why my hair was heat damaged and I was okay with it. But, you know, the curls are okay. You know, they're not suffering that bad. Anyway, so I was like, I'm not going to blow dry my hair because next weekend I'm going to be maybe in a pool, maybe not. So I was like, you know what, let me just do this because my hair has really been just getting it. If y'all seen my TikToks lately, y'all know I have not been taking care of my hair. I've just been like showing up because I just don't want to do it. I'm just tired of doing my hair. So anyway, this is the nicest that I've been to it in a while. So thank you for letting me show up and do this video, and we'll see when it's posted. So all of that being said, if you really like this segment, sorry, I promise I watched it. If y'all really like this segment, of course, let me know what you think below. Make sure you like, share it with somebody that you think needs this information. I think I'm going to do more as long as this video doesn't like get 2 views or something. Growth and pivoting and changing in your business and your career takes time and work. But yeah, like this has been kind of fun and nice to kind of talk about things. I think actually like a little bit therapeutic for myself, right? To just like talk about things. Because as much as I'd be like, y'all need to get a therapist, I think I need an advanced therapist because like I therapist myself so much that when I go to the therapist, I'm like, I know what you're telling me. I've already told myself that. Okay? And that's how I ended up on Lexapro. What are we talking about now? Anywho. That's the ADHD for you. But yeah, that being said, like if you are wanting to make a career pivot, like I said, my absolute favorite thing to do is like see Black women make that pivot. See them go from, you know, being in a toxic job to like loving their bosses. I got to talk to one of my very favorite clients earlier today, and she made that pivot a couple months ago, and I was just so proud because she's just much happier, and you can kind of hear it in her voice. You can hear it like when you talk about like workplace trauma, like people think, oh, like it's the workplace, like it doesn't have that kind of effect on you. Like, no, it does. It definitely does. And so I think when you're in a place where you know, aren't safe at work, you don't like work, it's depressing, whatever it is, like that has a real effect on you. So don't undermine or underestimate the way that it can impact you, you know, when you're at home, what you do. And it's okay to be like, you know what, I don't have a supportive manager. I don't like my manager. You know, I don't have growth opportunities. Whatever it is like enough for you to be like, you know, I am going to make this pivot. And, you know, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know where I'm going to land. But, like, I know that I deserve better. And to be honest, like, that's where many of my clients are when I start working with them. And we get super clear about, again, that career path, you know, repackaging skills, thinking about, you know, what is it that they really want to do? What is it that you really want to do? And starting there is going to be the best way to pivot. People don't think that's where they have to start, but it really is. So all of this being said, like if you are super ready to, you know, have that type of clarity, have that type of career, you know, be happy at work again. It's possible. I see it from my clients every time we get to talk with them, to just see them lean into their path, go on the journey that they're meant to be on. And I am thankful every day that I get to be a part of it because it's so awesome. Like just more happy Black women, happying. I don't know what I was trying to say. That wasn't it. But just being happy as I move through the world, like, I love it. It gives me joy. I think I might be, like, off-centered in this video this whole time. I just realized that I was on the wrong side. I think this is where I was supposed to be. My dog's snoring out there. Can you hear that? Probably not. Anyway, okay. Well, all of that being said, if you love me and you want to work with me and you want to love your career, love me, love you, love your career, love everyone, yeah, schedule a call below. They're 15 minutes. They're super chill. I'm really just like asking you about where you are in your career, where you want to be, where you're not, how you're not where you want to be, whatever you want to call it. Like, and I think they're super chill. So yeah, schedule a call, they're free. But until then, I hope this video, like, it really was just supposed to be kind of like a mini vlog. Like, that is a terrible part. What am I doing? Maybe I'll just do, okay, I didn't do that right. Y'all, I'm about to embarrass myself at the end of this video. My parts were okay until just then. Like, wow, that is rough. I think it might have just been because I don't have enough hair here. Okay, anyway. Oh, okay, that looks a little bit better. Little bit better. Anyway, yeah, let me know. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions about my pivot. And I hope that this video gives you the courage to say yes to yourself, say yes to making the leap, to pivoting. I'm hoping that you found this video because you have been thinking about pivoting. And yeah, if there's anything that I can answer about my journey, being in DE&I, being a career coach, how I did all of this, let me know. Also, I will put a link to my like transferable skills thing below so that you can download it so that you can start talking about your transferable skills, as well as a job search planner, as well as my Canva resume template. All right, so we weren't expecting no miracles. Here's my heat damage hair down here, but my twists are looking, that one's a little chunky, but it's doing pretty good. So I made it like an hour later. I go so slow, but whatever. I'm gonna put maybe some of these rods at the bottom and hope for the best. So see y'all next time. Bye.